video game time. 'Cause not listening to Donny is a crime. I'm just kidding, folks, but you know what I mean. Tonight's all about the ghost and the machine. All about paranormal and video games. Paranormal and video games. With Donny Cho kicking ass and taking names. We've come for paranormal shit and video games. Philosophizing about the afterlife. 'Cause Donny can't play Baldur's Gate 3 tonight. Talking about ghosts and angels, whatever goes. He just wants to play his game and it really shows. All about paranormal and video games. Paranormal and video games. With Donny Cho kicking ass and taking names. We've come for paranormal shit and video games. Donny spent all week thinking about Baldur's Gate 3. But sadly his Saturday nights aren't free. So he's gonna talk whatever comes to mind. Then it's back to that Baldur's Gate free grind.
Oh shit, we're live, Tex. Holy crap. There's people watching us.
Howdy.
Oh my god. Hey folks, we got a special tonight. Tex is in the building. True Origins Unknown. Hey there. Hey.
Hey, True.
So, Tex, how are you doing this fine Saturday? Oh, it's
Man,
Davey
I'm all
Crotchkick.
right.
I haven't seen him in a while.
I'm all right. Davey Crotch Kick. I love that name.
I used to see him around, I think, the Spaced Out Radio chat, I believe.
Cool.
That's a good old time. So, yeah. Oh, thank you, Kitty Cat. She says, damn, Donny Cho, you always have some great graphics. Well, to be fair, I cannot take credit for that. These graphics are the people at who made Baldur's Gate 3. So, yeah, I can't take credit for that, but thank you, nonetheless. All right, so today we're going to talk about some paranormal, some video games, and some philosophizing. And Tex, you're one to wax poetically about the paranormal.
Yeah, I ain't done shit politically in my whole life. What are you talking?
But, you know, you like to get deep in thought about the paranormal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I have my views, and it tends to piss a few people off and break a few hearts, but that's all right.
Yeah, no, it's all good. No, those kinds of opinions are the best ones. They're spicy. That's what I like to call them. You know, I'm Korean. We appreciate that kimchi spice, you know? Yeah, you don't want none of them bland opinions. And speaking of spicy opinions, I'm going to come in with some tonight. I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me because it doesn't fit with some of y'all's worldviews, which is fine. It's all good. No judgment or nothing, you know? I do consider myself to be a Buddhist. I grew up Christian. I grew up like Protestant Christian, not Southern Baptist or nothing, but Presbyterian, Methodist. You know, switched over to Buddhism when I was in college, like 21 years old. But prior to that, I was actually okay. Here's a little fact you don't know about me, Tex, that might surprise you. For 5 years before I changed over to Buddhism,
You were a Satanist?
no, I was actually a Sunday school teacher. I was the opposite.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I taught Sunday school. I taught upper elementary and middle school. I would teach about the Bible and shit, yo.
What happened? I mean, did the Sith Lord get a hold of you and turn you to the dark side, or what happened?
So here's the thing, a little background about me, okay? So my dad is an elder in the Presbyterian. So for people who don't understand how church structure works for like these congregations, imagine if the church is like a corporation, the pastor is like the CEO, the elders are like the board,
Right.
right? You know, they elect the new pastor when it's time to, you know, choose a new one. So my dad was kind of a big deal in the Korean Christian circles. And so obviously as his oldest son, I was kind of thrust into the position of being the Sunday school teacher. And I was kind of being mentored because I was kind of being pushed towards like theology and ministry. But something got in the way, Tex. Something broke me. And that was when I discovered the P word.
I understand.
For those who don't know, it means pussy. Yes.
You know,
So
chasing
yeah.
skirt derails a bunch of people.
Oh, yes, it does.
And you know, I think every one of us have went through dark periods in our life. I'll put it that way. And some of us still are.
People be tested, yo. Hey, it's Bigfoot Fades.
And you know, I've never been one to pretend to be something I'm not.
Right.
Kind of, you know, what you see is what you get. I mean, obviously, Tex is not my, you know, birthright name, right?
Right.
But I've never been one to try to put up a front of I'm this holier than thou, better than you do as I say and not as I do type thing. You know, I've never been that way. And
yeah,
because I can't stand a hypocrite. I think there's three things in this world, well, four things that I really just cannot stand. One's a pedo. Two's a thief. And three's a hypocrite. And four's a bully. I can't stand any of those.
Right.
You know, if you can't be who you truly are, I don't want nothing to do with you. And, you know, I mean,
and you see that sometimes in this community. Not any of the people here, but I mean, I see some people in the paranormal cryptid community who are like acting all Christian and shit, like on their shows, but then you find out about them in real life, and you're like, "Yo, my man's a scumbag." It's gross.
I'm no saint.
Right.
I am no saint. I've spent a few nights behind in the Crossbar Hotel. You know, I was a little hellraiser back in my day. And let's see, what's the line to the song? I can't remember the whole line, but the end of it goes, I've never purposely hurt anyone, you
Right.
know, and that's how I am. I mean, I've always prided myself on being a good friend, you know.
And you
Well,
are.
well, I try to be,
Yeah.
I mean, and I think the thing about it is we're not perfect, none of us, okay. And you can pretend to be all you want to be,
Mm-hmm.
okay, but it don't do you a bit of good if you're
Yeah.
not, because you can put up a front for people, but that ain't who matters, And honestly, I think, um, thank you, Mickey. Um, I think that these pretenders are
Mm-hmm.
getting a rude ass awakening, you know,
Yeah.
when they're being judged, you know. How dare you pretend to be, this person of God and all this kind of stuff, but that's not who you are,
And you're
you
just
know.
leading people astray, or you're using it
Absolutely.
to exploit
Absolutely.
people. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I have a problem. I don't have a problem with, and well, let me put it this way. I've always said that the relationship with you and your creator, with you and your God, well, I
Mm-hmm.
don't care who you believe in,
Right.
that's a personal relationship. Okay. And that, I don't know.
Mm.
I just have a big problem, especially these people that I
That
really
we
know.
know. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And they're
gross.
putting on a front. But the thing about it, and I could call these people out, folks, I could. Why? I don't, and then there's nothing. We don't do drama.
Right.
That, when we started all coming together, and that's the first thing. I guess if you had to make a list of how to be a misfit toy, number one would be you are a no drama llama. We don't
Yep.
buy into that shit, and it
And
just
it's
serves
not
us well.
hard either. It's not hard to avoid drama.
No, it's not. It's not. And I I'll tell you one of the probably the straw that broke the camel's back as far as turning me against the big church. And I've never really liked these big, huge mega churches
Mm-hmm.
because I have a problem with if I roll up if I roll up into a church parking lot and the preacher's got um, a assigned parking spot with a brand new Mercedes, BMW, whatever, what have you,
Oh yeah.
in the parking place, and he's wearing $5,000 suits, and he wants to get up there and pass the plate and tell us to give. I have a problem with that. Plus, I have a problem with tithing being money based because it is not.
Right.
But I mean, I know that I don't know if that's what the show's all about, but I think here's my thoughts on who's going to end up upstairs, walking through the pearly gates. If one of these hypocrites happen to make it, I think they're going to get a big surprise when they're staring Jews in the eye, they're staring Buddhists in the eye, they're staring some Muslims there, they're Baptist, they're Catholic, there's Mormons, they're the whole gambit.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's what I think. Okay, now we consider God to be an omnipotent being, all knowing, all seeing, right?
Mm-hmm.
No matter which religion whatever God, whatever you call it, okay, it don't matter. Now, you're going to tell me that this all-knowing, all-seeing, omnipotent being isn't smart enough to figure out that this group of people is not going to accept me the same way as this group of people. So if I show myself to them as this and over here, more people are going to accept me versus showing myself this way over here to these people.
Right.
Okay. And that's the way I look at it. Will I make it up to the pearly gates? I don't. I don't. I'm a God fearing man. Okay, and I've always going to church ain't gonna put you in heaven.
No.
Putting money in the plate ain't gonna put you in heaven. Okay, the way you treat others and putting others, before yourself, that's gonna put you in heaven. So anyway,
But the thing is, you see that ratchet ass behavior all the time with people who'd be spitting out Bible verses in their shows and giving people these moralistic lessons and being like, don't let these cryptid and paranormal entities hold sway over you because you have the power of Jesus. Meanwhile, they're screwing everyone over like behind the scenes.
mm-hmm.
It's so gross, Tex. It's so gross. It's like, I
You know-
didn't realize people would be that gross in this community when I first got in here. I didn't think I would see it like that. Like, I've seen it before, like in churches and stuff,
right.
but to see like some of these people.
Well, and I think we always assume that if we, whatever community we're involved in, be it paranormal, be it cryptid, be it politics, be it church, be it whatever, sewing circle, canasta turn, I don't care, whatever. I think we always see our own circle. We're surprised at the amount of horrible people that are actually in it.
True. True.
Because the thing about people, and I love people. I know a lot of people, I freaking hate people, blah, blah, blah. I don't hate people. I love people. My problem is I'm going to trust you until you give me a reason not to. That being that, but there's a problem with that because I also give you a chance to screw me over. And the one thing I wish I could change about myself, and I can't help the way I feel, folks. I can't. It's just the way I am. You can talk about me all you want. Okay, you can dog on me all you want. You can take jabs at me all you want. Do not mess with my family and friends. And I've been that way. And I will tell you this, and this is the part I wish I could change about myself. I wish I could be more forgiving because there's a line, and it's a short list, but there's a line that certain people have crossed in my life that once you cross that line, I literally do not give a rat's ass if you live or die. It's a short list.
No, I get it.
But
I'm
kind
of like that too.
Once you make that list, I'm done with you. But you really got to be a sorry sack of shit for me to put you on that list. You really do.
Yeah.
And there's a few people, unfortunately, that I have considered friends in my life that have made that list. Because they prove themselves to be everything but, and not just to me. I don't like people taking advantage of other folks.
Right.
I do not. And I may not live the cleanest life. I may cuss. I may drink. I raise a little bit of hell. I get a little crazy. Anybody that's hung out with me knows that, especially Randy. Randy's known me for 40 something years,
Hmm.
you know, and, but no, there's a line. There's a line in the sand. And if you cross it, I don't give a shit if you live or die. And I wish I could change that about me, but that's just
Hmm.
hard, cold facts, folks. That's just
Yeah.
how it is. But
No, I'm the same way too, man. I'm definitely the same way. I do have a hard time forgiving once you. I mean, I think you and I, the one thing we have in common is we're both fairly easy to get along with.
mhm, I can
You
get
know,
along with pretty much
yeah.
anybody. Yeah.
But yeah, once you prove yourself to be an asshole, there's very little
Right.
shaking that in my eyes, at least.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty damn good at reading a room.
Hmm.
Um, Now don't get me wrong. I've been completely fooled by people. I think everybody has, you know, by people that it some of these manipulators are so good that they'll pull the wool over your eyes. Yeah, I don't care who you are, you know. But John Tempering, he says, "I'll forgive but never forget." That's pretty. This I don't know. I don't
Keith
know if
says, rumor has it Tex even likes some of us Yankees.
I do. I do.
Yeah.
You know, I feel for you because you were born that way, but I can't hold that against you, right?
Oh, yeah. We Yankees. Because I'm definitely a Yankee.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
about as Yankee as they come.
I'm as Yankee as they come. Man.
But I will tell you this: I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, "You know what? The talking about getting into this circle, these circles, this big
Yeah.
paranormal circles." And they were telling me, ever since I've came out of the proverbial closet, as I say, it's brought me nothing but stress. But I've met some wonderful people that I would
Mm.
never have met if I hadn't gotten into this. And
Right.
that's true. That's true. But you have to take the good with the bad. That's just how it is. You know. But I think the good over you know um,
The good
surpasses.
overcomes.
I think
Yep.
the good surpasses the bad.
Yeah.
Because honestly, when we come right down to it, and I think our group proves a bunch of it because we have such a large group of people that are genuinely friends. We don't talk just on the shows. We talk daily, all of us.
Yeah.
Um, and but there's honestly just a few out there that are just horrible people. And I
Yeah.
can sit here and give you a list, but I'm not going to. Um, but I don't know. I think I wouldn't trade the friendships I've made over the past several years for anything. You know.
Yeah. But in this whole community, there definitely have been those friends that you meet where you think they're really awesome in the beginning and then they turn out to be they turn out to be very disappointing
Yeah.
as people. And it is a bummer when that happens.
It
I don't
is.
like to see,
It
yeah.
is.
But anyway,
Davey. When did Tex get his first long term cowboy hat? Depends what you call long
I think
term.
he was in diapers,
I've
I believe.
been wearing hats all my life. I had one that was so damn beat up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was a silver belly, and that's just what it sounds like. It's a gray, silver hat, felt hat, and it had right down the center of the crown here. It had been ripped open from
Mm-hmm.
here to there, and it got stepped on one night, at a rodeo and ripped the crown wide open. And the only thing I could find to sew it up was a buddy of mine's girlfriend had some hot pink thread in her purse. We sewed that damn hat up with hot pink thread. And because at the time being, it was like, well, I'll do something more permanent, but I never did. Right. So I had this stitch of hot pink thread going down the center of the crown of that thing. And on the brim, it had been stepped on, and it looked like somebody had just taken a bite out of it right here on the brim. And it had freaking mud stains all over it. I mean, it had been, and even this one, I mean, hell, you can see the sweat stains on it and stuff. But that's just getting broke in. I mean, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I got 5 hats now because I used to have 7, and I gave. Oh, wait a minute, is that another one up there? No, I got 5 now because I've given 2 of them away. I had 7.
I thought you'd have more than that, actually. Honestly.
Well, throughout the years, I've given several away. For silent auctions and that type of thing, and I got one up there that is for Brandon. I'm bringing to. Well, don't tell. What size hat does he wear? That's one thing I need to know. Because if mine fits him, I'm going to bring him one of mine. If not, I'll stop and buy him, try to find one my style. But I wear.
I want a cowboy hat.
What size hat do you wear? You don't have.
I don't know. I don't wear hats very often, but I would rock a cowboy hat.
I think you would too.
Yeah. Although Asian people tend to look kind of weird in cowboy hats, especially that one. That was in Texas. That one Asian guy, the only other Asian guy, and he had a cowboy hat. And he came up to me at that White Elephant bar.
Yeah,
damn, that was so awkward. So awkward. Came up to me all smiling. Hey, buddy, you're the only other Asian. Let's be friends. I'm like, no, I got friends. It's okay. So,
I've got my shift partner. My shift partner's Cambodia.
Oh.
And
he's what we Koreans call jungle Asians.
It's funny, but he was telling me the other day, he was talking about Cambodia. He said there's hardly any jungle left over there.
Huh.
All right, well, Mickey, measure his head and give me the measurement, and I'll figure it out because oh, you liar, Mike! You says I got friends. I thought it said I ain't got no friends. Never mind.
He was cool.
But hey, Finster, it's funny because he's Texan. He's like you. Don't have an accent or nothing like that. He was born and raised here. But he's about as city as they come. And he's about 10 years younger than I am. So me and him get into some discussion. He don't understand a lot of what I talk about. He's like, oh my God, but he calls me grandpa.
Do you know he's only 10 years younger?
He's at least 10 years younger than I am. I think he's not much older than my kids. So I guess he's like younger than that. He's probably about 20 years. Yeah, he's about 20 years younger than I am. So what's this paranormal video game world?
Okay, so let's get into the topic. We're about 30 minutes in. Holy shit. Okay. So a little background about me. I was Christian till about age 21, then changed over into Buddhism. When I first decided to get into this scene after being into all these chat rooms, I figured, the majority of people in the scene come from a Christian background, but there isn't anyone with a Buddhist background. I mean, I came into it later in life, but that was one of my early intentions of getting into this scene, was to kind of introduce that whole point of view, that whole perspective, right? But I'll tell you the actual, let me tell you the actual reason why I got into this whole paranormal thing in the first place. Because I first got into it from the ghost and the psychic side. I wasn't interested. I didn't get into the cryptid thing until like a couple years into it. But, you know, I've been a gamer all my whole life. I don't know. Are you weren't much of a video game guy, were you?
I enjoy them. My favorite video game, as far as that kind of stuff goes, I have two favorite video games.
Okay.
As far as PC games go,
Yeah.
or game console game, I guess. Anyway, my favorite PC game is Diablo.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Love me that game.
and my other favorite game would be Madden.
Madden. Yep. Everyone loves Madden, especially football people. Yep. I never
But
got into Madden from.
I don't care for first person shooters.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's just me.
So, yeah, I was actually a semi-pro in Tekken. I was, like Street Fighter, Tekken, those kinds of games. I
Yeah,
played a lot of RPGs like Diablo, also shooters. All sorts of games except for like Madden actually. That was like the only type of game I didn't play.
Hmm.
But yeah, hardcore gamer my whole life. Start getting into the ghost thing and then start reading up about like people like Edgar Casey, and I already had my own views about Christian because even though I switched from Christianity over to Buddhism, it's not like I didn't believe the events in the Bible were not true, right? Like I still believe that Jesus is the actual Son of God. I still believe that he came down on earth and died for people's sins. Like
right.
I'm not saying that I don't believe those things happen. It's just that Buddhism was just philosophically a better fit for me in terms of my outlook.
Yeah.
And especially because when it comes to the topic of reincarnation. Now, I know how you feel about reincarnation. Most people in this chat who come from a Christian background, they're not going to be as into it because they're going to see the afterlife as more of just when you die, you either go up or down, right?
Right.
You go to heaven or hell. But then people from Eastern traditions like Hinduism and Buddhism, they believe in this cycle, in this ongoing cycle of, birth, death, rebirth, right? And each incarnation throughout the course of time and history, you are supposed to gain attributes and spiritual lessons and apply them into your next life.
Okay.
All right. So from that point of view, so when I started getting into this, the question that I dealt with was not so much that which one's right. Is it the reincarnation or is it the Christian worldview? My question was, what is a scenario where they both work?
All right.
All right. So, and this is something that I talk with Jason a lot, and we're planning on doing a couple of shows about this debate. Because I actually do believe in heaven and hell, right? I do believe, that Jesus was a real person, but I also believe in reincarnation. I believe that the Bible does not necessarily contradict the idea of reincarnation. It doesn't outright support it, but there are some inferences in the text that you can kind of piece together that it's showing that reincarnation could be a thing. But for me, because I had a background in reincarnation and I also had my own personal experiences, which I'll talk about in a future episode. Once I started getting into the whole ghost thing, I started piecing things together. And then once I started learning about like some of the stuff that Edgar Casey taught about like the different realms and the veil, it became abundantly apparent to me, like it just clicked one day. And this is the main reason why I initially became obsessed with the paranormal, is because the paranormal, through reincarnation and through the different realms and through my understanding of what I believe to be true in the Bible, it led me to the conclusion that we're all in a video game. This whole thing is just one giant video game. Okay,
So basically, it's kind of like the Truman Show.
Or like the Matrix.
Well, I mean, it's pretty much
Yeah,
along the same
kind
line.
of. Yeah, along the same lines, right?
Yeah.
Actually, Truman Show would be more apt because I try to make a careful distinction between a video game and a simulation.
Mm.
I don't want to say simulation because video game is more. There's more of a set goal in mind with video games.
Right.
You
Right.
get scored. Simulation, you just kind of let it run and you want to see what happens. And based off what happens, you want to learn shit, right?
Right.
Video games, you go in there with a set agenda, a set goal in mind.
To
There's
beat the big boss.
attributes, right? You want the idea is to get better at the game,
Right.
right? So I started to piece it together what the afterlife actually is. So I don't know if you've gotten too much into Edgar Casey texts.
You know what? I have not.
Okay.
I know Danielle's really into him.
A lot of the new agey people are, yeah.
You know, but I have not. It's I guess it's odd because I enjoy the paranormal stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't get into a whole lot of I guess the philosophical side of it.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of out there finding out for myself,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so I don't know. I know who Edward Casey is,
Mm-hmm.
but that's about as far as it goes.
Probably, other than Nostradamus, the most famous psychic who ever lived, right?
Right, right.
Oh, yeah. So his thing was, now his readings weren't so much into the woo. For the majority of his career, it was mostly just helping people with medical issues, really.
Mm-hmm.
And because he didn't have any control over what he said, because he did everything while he was sleeping. He'd wake up and have no memory of any of the conversations. The guy grew up like pretty conservative. Like, I think he was Baptist, like in Kentucky. He memorized the Bible, like front and back. Like, the guy was a serious Christian. And the thing is,
They don't make you Christian. The devil knows the Bible front to back and back to front.
Yeah, that's true too. But the other thing was, all of his proceeds that he got, like all the money that people would pay for the readings, he put straight into building a hospital.
That's pretty cool.
Didn't take, he lived a pretty modest life, all of his life. But yeah, one of the interesting, and if you don't believe it, if you think it's all bullshit, it's fine. But I think a lot of what he said was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the real interesting questions was, on the other side of the veil, if we as humans were to stick our heads into the other side of the veil, what would it look like? And Edgar Casey explained that it basically looks like this, right? This world, it's basically like this, except there is no linear time.
Mm.
It's hard to wrap our brains around.
Well, time is a that was created by man, and just for a way to, like you said, have a grasp on things. It gives us a sense of control,
right?
And that honestly, that's what mankind that we have to have a sense of control over everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean. You watch somebody that truly does not have control of a situation, and you'll see them break down you'll find out who they are real quick, because you put somebody out there, and once they realize, and this is, going to Bigfoot, paranormal, diving is, or hunting, either in any of those scenarios, or firefighting, being a policeman, military, you put somebody in a situation where they no longer control their destiny. Okay, they have, you jump in there with a bunch of crocs or sharks or whatever. you are no longer at the top of the food chain, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with investigating the paranormal and the cryptids and everything else. You're not the big dog on the block, right? And it's all on how people handle that situation. It's no different than being in the military and being under fire, or being a cop being under fire, or being a fireman and being in a fire. You know, um, whether you are you gonna panic? Are you gonna handle the situation? You know, and it's odd. Well, I'll say odd. It's interesting. Let me put it this way: it's interesting to see how different people deal with those situations, because you see these. If you watch these videos of, you know, um, people, these weird, these desperate situations people get in, they handle them differently.
Yep.
Um, most of you know I've been a diver since I was 15 years old, and I don't watch a lot of paranormal Bigfoot YouTube. I do not. I watch true crime, and I watch a lot of diving videos, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And when take cave diving for example, and I was watching one last night, and there was two guys, and these guys were, I mean, they were who's who of the diving world, and this one guy had already set the deep dive record for being just on air, and it was 400 and something feet. That's unheard of on just air. That because you get at that point, oxygen becomes toxic, okay, and it affects your body. Okay, so about 100 feet, maybe two, is about the stretch you can go on air. This guy went 400 feet on air alone. After that, you have to get into mixed gases. Well, they were making this dive into this blue hole, and there's blue holes all over the world. There's not just one; they're all called blue holes. They reached depths without a submersible. This is just them going down on tanks and mixed gas and everything. They reached depths as over 900 feet.
That's really risky. There's so
Yeah.
many things that could go wrong.
Well, one of them made it back up, and the other one did not.
Yeah.
Okay, but and they had a vertical line that they were traveling, and they had tanks, for their extent, because you have to decompress coming up, or recompress actually,
Yeah.
coming back up, and so they had tanks staged and at different depths, and so on his way up, he realized he wasn't going to make it, and instead of panicking and all that kind of stuff, what's he do? He ties himself to the vertical line and makes peace with his end, so nobody has to risk their life trying to recover his body. He ties himself to his vertical line so they can recover his body. It's I mean, it's actually recompression. Technically, they're called decompression, but it's technically recompression. But to have the calmness, the I guess you could call it discipline, to overcome your fear of dying and do something like that amazes me, right?
Yeah.
Bravery is not doing something that you're afraid to do. Okay. Bravery is doing something. How was it put? Dad, I told you I don't need to be drinking on your show.
My show's meant to be drunk on.
Bravery is doing something but you're afraid to do. Bravery is being afraid to do something and doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Overcoming fear. That's bravery. So, yeah.
That was very forward thinking to save someone else from harm. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very selfless act, because he was known as everybody said he was the best cave diver in the world. Okay. So, yeah. But anyway.
So where were we?
I don't know. Shit, I've derailed this damn show so much. I don't know where we're at.
No, we're good. Oh yeah, we're talking about how the other side of the veil is no time, right? That's
like
the very definition.
How did we go from that all the way to where I was? Jeez.
I have no idea. Okay. So
this is what you get when Tech starts drinking and he's tired in the first place.
So the way Casey broke it down, there's three main like layers to reality that concern us primarily. There's more, but the three that concern us are this realm, right? The meat sack and rock and dust realm that we live in, the linear time. This is like the lowest level because everything's just confined in these meat sacks that we live in. We're surrounded by dust and rocks, and we're confined by linear time, right? The middle realm, which is like the in-between, this is like the realm where ghosts and everything reside on. That's the mental realm. That's basically, it's just thought, emotion, memory, things like that. Okay? So I had a buddy of mine in Korea. He was an Australian dude. But one day he actually went over to Peru and he did ayahuasca. You're familiar with that, right, Tex?
I know it's a mind-altering drug.
Yeah. It's like you do it with the shamans. You're supposed to like meet these spiritual beings. You go on like a spirit quest, right, and get all these insights, right?
See, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because how do you know? I mean, how do you know? How can you say it's just not the drug? I know same thing with peyote.
Yeah.
Supposed to open your mind. Same thing with LSD. That's what they called it too. But
I mean, you won't know unless you try it for yourself. But I think the proof is in the pudding, right? The proof is in the result of whatever lesson you learn. Like if you apply it in a meaningful way.
I got slipped some LSD one time, some angel dust is what they call it. One time. And I was not a fan. I was scared shitless. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't ready for it, and that's not cool. That's actually very not cool to do to someone.
Yeah, that happened to me back when I was in my 20s and I was bouncing. And
no, that's not something you're supposed to just slip someone while they're unaware. That's
got you smelling colors and hearing.
Yeah.
Are hearing colors and smelling sounds and everything else.
So I asked him, like, when he came back from that ayahuasca trip, with the shamans and everything, I asked him what happened. Like, I asked him what he experienced. It's got a bit of a kick, doesn't it? I kind of want to try it, man. Oh, man.
I'll bring it.
All right. Anyway.
There's any left.
So I asked him, I was like, dude, what did you see? Like, what happened? And this is what he described to me, okay? He said that once it kicked in, he was back in kindergarten. Like, at his desk, in his classroom. And he said, Donnie, this was not like any dream or vision. It was like as if I was literally transported back. He could see all like the kids' drawings posted on the walls. Like he could make out like all the very specific details. And he said it felt like straight up time travel. Like this wasn't some kind of vision or vague memory of being back in kindergarten. He's like, I can make out every single fucking detail there was in that room. Like it was like I was actually there. And then boom, right from there, he's like in the third grade. He's got like this, he's like on the football field playing with his friends. He remembers like the clothes that everyone's wearing. And then, he's experiencing that. And then boom, he's a teenager. And then he's just transported throughout all these different moments of his life until finally he came out of it realizing that, now he was married with a child, with a decent job. He was my buddy in Korea. And he said that what the ayahuasca plant was showing me was that, it wasn't bound by time. He was kind of going back and forth. Oh, I like that. And his lesson was that, yeah, he did a good job. He raised a good family. He did right. And that was the only lesson he needed to learn. He never did it again. He walked away, went back to Korea to his wife and kid, kept working, and that was that. Right? But it was interesting to me how that quote unquote spiritual ride, right, was not bound by any time. It could just go from place to place to place. Now, the reason why this is important when it comes to the paranormal is because of ghosts. Okay? I think a lot of people have it wrong about what ghosts actually are.
Okay.
Okay.
That sounds cool.
So the problem I have is that people believe that it's the immortal soul that's out of the body. Right?
Uh-huh.
Like you have a soul inside your body that when you die, it comes out of your body. It doesn't cross over into the light, so it kind of lingers. That's the common, I guess, Western interpretation of what ghosts actually are. Problem is, if you look at all these haunting stories and like if you try to piece the patterns together of the like how these ghosts behave, it doesn't seem like that actually. Because one of the things you notice about ghosts is that they seem to be very limited in what they actually do or how they perceive where they're at. Okay? They're not like your consciousness that comes out of your body and just lingers. Because if that were the case, the personalities would be a lot more dynamic. Their actions and their choices, like their reactions to the environment, especially since like the progression of time. Like, okay, you hear all these stories about people who go to these haunted locations and they deal with ghosts from like the early 20th century or the late 19th century, right? Like the 1800s, 1700s, right? You ever notice how none of these ghosts seem freaked out that all these people are like in their 21st century clothes with their iPhones and their technology? They're not looking at all the tech all curiously.
Yeah, and very seldom do you hear about encounters where whoever you're running into or from the other side, if you want to call it that, are confused.
Right.
Are because it's like, and I don't know, Troy, when you die, your soul goes to a chat room.
That would be hell. Could you imagine?
Well, you know what? I don't know if that's I don't know if that's a really a far off statement. I really don't, because you were talking about the whole linear time thing, and when he took this ayahuasca, that it wasn't confined. It didn't have that confine of time.
Right.
There's another thing that we experience that has the same thing, and that's dreams. Dreams are not in the same time frame that we dream what seems to us. That's why you can take a nap and be down for about 30 minutes. And once you hit the REM state, once you hit that state and you start dreaming, you can have a dream that seems like you were in it for hours or even days. And you wake up and you've only been asleep for 30 minutes.
Right.
Because time does not exist. It doesn't, it may exist, but it doesn't exist in the same way that we perceive it now.
And the opposite could happen, right? Like you could be asleep for like 8, 9, 10 hours, but then it feels like you just closed your eyes and woke back up.
Absolutely. So that, it doesn't take mind altering drugs to get there. I think that's just another form of dream state. because I trust dream state more than I would something that's enhanced or triggered by a mind altering drug. Um, but that's just me, and
Right.
because I don't like taking anything where I don't feel like I'm in control. Now, I will tell you this: I've drank my share. Okay, I've drank more than my share. I'll put it that way. And there's a point that I get to that I become no shit, folks. And if you're unlucky enough to witness this on at the conference, you will. Depending on what kind of mood I'm in. But if I drink a lot, I basically become a hybrid between Dr. Phil and Don Juan.
Oh, I've seen it.
Yeah, I think
I've seen it.
I think every woman's attracted to me, and
Yeah.
if not, I'm going to tell you why. But I'm going to tell you why you should be. And I'm going to tell y'all, folks, if you show up at the pre-party, I'm just going to put this out there. If you show up at the pre-party and Tex gets to drinking and he goes to flirting, don't take none of it serious. Okay? It's just me having fun. Tell me to shut the fuck up and I'll shut the fuck up. Okay? I will do that. I mean, if you get serious with me and go, shut up, I'm done. I won't go any further. I do have that. But that's just me. Okay? I like to have a good time. I'm a flirt by nature. I'm a flirt when I'm sober. God help you when I'm drinking.
I remember that one time I saw you flirting with that woodland elf. Remember that?
Oh, well, absolutely.
That elf lady?
Wouldn't?
Yeah.
Who
I was
wouldn't?
like, that's a sight to behold in a bar. Tex flirting with an actual woodland elf.
Well, I mean, how
Yeah.
often do you get that opportunity?
For folks who don't know, this chick had like, she looked like an elf. She had like a green dress and she looked like she was like a
She had a
sylvan,
hood on it
whatever the fuck. Yeah.
and pointed ears.
And to see like this big cowboy guy talking to an elf, I'm sitting there drinking my Long Island iced tea, being like, whoa, that's a sight to behold. Yeah.
I mean, this little jewel right here tells a story from that has a story from Jefferson, Texas, and that wasn't me, folks. I'm just saying that wasn't me. My youngest daughter was there to witness this. This was funny. There was a couple that had come sit with us, and he was a former policeman. He was a few years older than his wife, and his wife was very, very good looking, very, very what we call hot, hard body, that type of thing. She was late 20s, early 30s, and we were he wasn't much of a dancer. I loved to dance. So we were out. We all hit it off, and I had her out on the dance floor. And we were dancing, and she hands me this necklace. And this is a necklace, folks. Okay, and if you look at it, what it is, it's barbed wire with little pieces of turquoise. Okay, so but anyway, she takes this necklace off and she puts it in my hand, and we're on the dance floor. She goes, "It's not much, but I just want you to have it because I think you're an awesome guy." Well, thank you. You don't have to do that. Then she looks at me and she goes, we've been talking about my wife and all this kind of stuff. She looks at me, she goes, "Are y'all swingers?"
She was giving you the signal, Tex.
Well, let's see how she exactly put it. She goes, "Do y'all swing?" That's what I said. And I looked at her and I kind of raised that old eyebrow and I said, "Not yet."
Oh, Bigfoot Fates, no, she's like pineapple.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Upside down pineapple, right?
Yeah.
But to me, I mean, that's just fun. That's just fun. Nothing happened. We got back to the table and I was standing behind her and her husband. They were sitting at the table, And she goes, "Do you have a picture of your wife?" I said, "Yeah." So I brought it up on the phone, right? And she takes my phone. She licks my phone, folks. She licks my phone. And her husband sees it. And he says, "All right, time to go." And she was 3 sheets to win. I'm just going to say that she was 3 sheets to win. But it was, it was funny.
Definitely
Yeah,
loose goose there.
yeah. It was fun.
Amy's like, ew.
I know, right? I know, right?
Yeah. I was there. I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were talking to my youngest daughter. You met my youngest daughter.
Yeah, we were talking about K-pop because she was a
K-pop,
K-pop fan. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, you still haven't had her on the show to talk.
Yeah, I'm still planning on doing that. I did message her about it. She's
Did
down.
you?
Yeah. Speaking of funny bar stories, Tex, do you remember the one Rob told us about when he was working at the bar and then he encountered those, he's closing up. It's like, what, 2, 3 a.m.? And then he sees those people from like the 1920s, like having a drink.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A whole group of people.
Yeah. Right.
Oh,
so,
that's awesome. When did
this
you do
story,
that?
Yeah, I made that ChatGPT.
You need to send that to Rob.
So this story to me was always very interesting, right? Because it goes back to my earlier point. Like, okay, if these ghosts or these spirits of these people were actually from the 1920s, right? That means they would have been sitting there at that bar for like 100 years, right? Well, if they were actually the consciousness,
all the time. See, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. And if they were actually the consciousnesses of these people, they wouldn't just be sitting there acting all casually drinking unless there was some kind of anomaly with time, right? So one of my thoughts was, when I first heard this story, was, remember how Rob tells it, right? They're ignoring him at first. They're having their drink until Rob, he sees them. And then they finally catch wind that he's looking at them. And one of the guys looks over at him, raises his glass, and then he turns into like a skeleton. But I'm wondering, what about from their point of view? What if in their point of view, they're in the 1920s,
right?
And they're drinking and they see an apparition, right? And maybe to them, Rob was the apparition that they saw when they were drinking, and they probably saw some kind of shadow being standing there at the bar, and then they probably rubbed their eyes and they're like, "Damn, I've been drinking too much tonight." Right? It goes to the
maybe it's not maybe. Well, and I think I understand what you're saying. Maybe it's not necessarily the other side that he's seeing or that he saw.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just like multiverses,
or like a wrinkle in time.
Yeah.
And even with the ghosts and their behaviors. Now, okay, you hear about these ghosts that are like the ghosts of like these famous serial killers, right? Like, I remember this one episode I did with Brandy and Randy. They did one about the ghosts of like John Wayne Gacy and about how it was like all evil and a killer. And I've heard of a few other stories about ghosts of like people who are convicted murderers. Now, the thing is, when you look at the behavior of the haunting itself, right, it's always just one particular mindset. Well, either the murderer or the victim. Victim is often reliving the death state. Or if you have a more benign ghost, it's doing like a very specific, it's almost like OCD, right? It's not doing any complex actions, which doesn't make sense because these are supposed to be the consciousnesses of living people. So, based off my understanding of reincarnation, of what I understand the soul to be, I am of the belief that ghosts are not the souls that leave the body when they die, when a person dies. What ghosts are, you have a corpse, right? The corpse is the body without life. A ghost is the mind without life. It's the mental equivalent of a corpse.
Interesting.
So, because in the Buddhist, I guess, framework of what a soul is, for reincarnation, they believe that the soul actually does not reside in the body. Your body has a mind and has a consciousness, and when it dies, the consciousness leaves, but that's not the soul. What the soul actually is, it's the culmination of all of the incarnations throughout history, all rolled up into one.
Okay.
It's the sum total. So the way I like to put it, I got this little scene here from the movie Watchmen. The soul is actually the
I've
guy
never
in the
seen that
chair,
movie.
right? All of those screens are all the different incarnations, but each incarnation makes up the sum total of what the soul is. That's how it works. So
I've always wanted to do a past life regression
I had it done.
because I'm
Yeah.
I'm told that I've had at least a few, right? And because I've always had this, I want to get a little
Mhm.
deep on you here. I've always had this, and you know how I feel about gut feelings and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Right? I think there's more truth in that than there is in a lot of things. And I've always, I mean, from a young age, from probably my young teens, I've had this. I don't even want to call it a feeling. It's called. I know this for some reason. I can just say I know this. Um, I'm going to die a violent death. Okay, and I've come to terms with it. I'm good with that. I'm not only going to die a violent death. It's going to be in the process of at least attempting to save someone.
Mm.
So, or in a horrific situation or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be
Like
it's
to run into a fire to rescue someone, right?
well, I
Yeah.
don't know about that, but I mean,
Run into a burning building.
maybe.
I mean, you are the type. I know you, Tex. You
Well,
are
I
the
was a
type to, yeah.
firefighter for a while, but I've always felt that it's going to be very violent. Um, it could be a fight. It could be taking up for somebody. It could be anything. I don't know.
Hmm.
But anyway, it's going to be violent. I do know that for sure. Um, where do we get that from? Well, I've been told that I've had at least a couple of past lives, and I've died violently in every one of them. One of them was the Civil War, and I was shot. Okay, I get that. Makes sense, right?
Hmm.
I think World War II was another one, and I was um, blown up. I think, but so I don't know, but I've always felt like that. But I will say this: when I had my blood clots,
Hmm.
I was kind of on the fence because when I had my blood clots and I was stuck in the hospital because it was during COVID and I was by myself, nobody could even come in the hospital, much less visit my ass, right?
All right.
And I had 17 blood clots throughout both lungs.
Damn.
Okay. And they put me on the COVID floor, which was also the intensive care unit at that time. And I thought, there's no way, I can't go like this. I can't go alone and just fade into non-existence. I can't. And that was my big, if I've, aside from losing my kids, the biggest fear for me was at that point
Hmm.
was just dying there with a in a hospital. I don't want to go that way.
And
That was my
sadly, there
biggest
were a
fear
lot
to
of
die
people at
alone.
that time who went that way. And yeah.
You know, that was such a horrific time for so many people, because they did go that way,
Yeah.
right? And I think if, because I know a lot of people think if you die in a violent way or whatever, you know, um, a lot of ghosts come from that because it was such a traumatic ending. I think that dying alone like that
Yeah.
would create more wandering ghosts than anything.
You would have most likely been wound up as a ghost from that than like a violent death. Whereas a
Right.
violent death, you'd be like, okay, crossing over now.
Yeah. Hey, I did
Yeah.
what I could.
Yeah.
You know, hey, I'm done. Right. But yeah. So anyway, you can thank Tex for the depressing area of this show.
No, it's fine. No, it kind of fits actually.
Here we go. What is this?
Because we're talking about death and the afterlife. So yeah, we do
This-
need to put context to it.
Four,
So.
Donnie?
Which one is that?
I think 4.
Cheers. Man, I do like that shot glass. So you're liking that? It's growing on you? Anyway. So
It's not as good as my TX. Randy calls my TX rock gut. No, sir.
So going back to the whole concept of the ghost being the mind without life, and that the actual soul is actually this sum total of all of our past incarnations all in one. Because one of the things that one of the questions was, because Edgar Casey did a lot of like past life readings for a lot of people. And he said that one of the things that people need to understand is from the other side's point of view, from their point of view, all of those incarnations are all happening at the same time. Right? Because like we mentioned earlier, on the other side, there is no linear time, right? They're not bound by that. So we think that, okay, the previous incarnation of Tex was born into Civil War times, right? Dies in the Civil War. Then he's born in the early 20th century, dies in World War II, and now he's born in Texas, you know. But Texas soul is sitting there soaking it all in all at the same time, right? So the ghost is not the entire soul. It's just an aspect of that particular incarnation's mind, basically the mental or the psychic version of what a corpse is, a husk. And you can see that in the ghost behavior because their behavior is so limited.
Right.
Right. So when they ask, now this is how.
Wait a minute, back up. Limited to what?
Limited in the fact that
we do.
What's up?
They don't have the limits we do.
They're limited in the fact that like they'll, like in a lot of cases, they'll occupy just like a particular room, for example.
I get you.
You know, and if whatever they did in their life, they're just going to keep doing that on repeat, right? They're not making dynamic, active decisions reacting to their environment.
Okay. Well, see, and that's where it gets real muddy because, so we need Krista or Brandy here or Danielle, or hell, even Randy.
Mm-hmm.
But because that's where you have these the reoccurring stuff,
you
know, versus intelligent haunts,
right?
You know,
I think some intelligent haunts do happen, but even the intelligent ones, they're still very limited, right? Think about it.
Where do we get the answers from when we start, using these instruments? Here's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the answers that when we start using these meters and all this kind of stuff, and we start getting, or even lights or flashlights, whatever, cat balls, and we start getting responses to our questions?
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you think that's a ghost, or do you think that's something jacking with us? Do you think that's a trickster spirit? Do you think that's a little something more nefarious?
I think it is, okay, if it is a ghost, I think what that represents is the person's mind at the time, at a specific moment in time. For example, like you were talking about your experience at the hospital, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to become a ghost at that moment, there's going to be so much about you that's not going to be in the ghost, because the ghost is only going to be your mind at that moment. It's not going to be your mind, like, let's say, on your wedding day or on your kid's graduation, right? Or on the happiest day, or like, when you went into basic training for the military, like your mentality is going to be different at each of those instances in time. But let's say, hypothetically, if that ghost did happen that way, like you talked about, You're going to get none of that, right?
Mm.
You're only going to get a sliver of that consciousness. And if someone comes in later with an EVP and tries to interact with that ghost that is you, they're only going to get that aspect of your personality and your mind, right?
So that you're saying that's why sometimes we get these EVPs that are really dark, because maybe these people did die alone, and they're like,
Mhm.
and that's why you get these EVPs that are like
Yeah.
scared,
Yeah.
alone, dark, help. That
Yep.
kind, because a lot of EVPs, that's what you get.
Right.
So yeah, that kind of makes sense.
But if you think
If you
about
only get
people, right,
that little clip of
you get a sliver. Yeah.
when you died,
Yeah.
that feeling of when you died, you
Right.
know, but you also get, I mean, those EVPs but it seems to be more rare that you get the ones that talk about peace, that talk about, that most of the time
Every mind is different, but you still like no single person is one emotion 100% of their lives,
oh, absolutely, absolutely.
right?
I've been as happy, I'm happy as a clam, and I have been so pissed off I could see red.
Right.
So, you know, um, but yeah, so you're saying, and this is interesting. I like this. So you're saying when you pass, you get like a YouTube short
Hmm.
of your life, but it takes place right when you die.
Yeah, like you get
Your mindset when you die.
for a lot of cases, yes. I think not necessarily when you die, but I think every ghost represents a very particular mindset of that person, but not the totality, right? Because some
Yeah, I don't
ghosts,
think you get the
yeah, not,
totality at all. I
yeah,
agree with that.
yeah. Because some ghosts, like there's, Edgar Casey mentioned an example where he would talk about in some cases, like, okay, the ghosts of alcoholics. You've heard those stories, right? Where they would keep going to the bars and they would keep trying to drink, but they couldn't get drunk, right? Or people who were smokers and you would smell their cigar or their cigarette smoke, right? Same thing, right? Even the most hardened alcoholic, yeah, when they die, it's because, and their ghost is so focused on their alcoholism because that was a big part of their mindset at the time of their death. So whatever that spirit or that ghost that's lingering is going to try to go up into the bars and keep trying to drink because in life that person was a raging alcoholic. But they were not an alcoholic 100% of their lives.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah.
Well, and I just posted something in chat. I said this is a great conversation, even though I've got a very good buzz going. But and I do, just so you know.
Hmm.
I'm 4 shots in. Is that an ounce or 2 ounce glass, Donnie?
I have no idea. Man, I kind of want to drink, man. This is making me want to drink. Damn it, me quitting
Well, get
drinking.
a drink. Get a drink. You're not out of control. Um,
You know what? I think I will grab a beer. I'll be right back. Keep the crowd
there you go.
entertained.
Grab a beer. There you go. See, I'm a bad influence. Um, but Yukon and Coors, Yukon Jack and Coors here. There you go. See, I don't think there's a problem with having a drink. I don't think there's a problem with having a couple of 3 drinks. Where you have a problem, folks, is if you can't make it through the day without a drink, then you have a problem. The the and the way I drink, folks, I'm going to tell you right now, because I mean, honestly, let's be honest here. You only get a snippet of our lives on these channels, right? You only see an hour, 2 hours of my life, right? Um, and I'm drinking in that hour or 2 hours. But this bottle will sit in my studio for a year. Okay. I have a I have beer in my fridge that's been there 6 months and counting. because if I'm grilling, I may have a beer. I may tie one on one night, and I may have 6 or 8 beers. I may sit down here tonight, like with Donnie, I feel relaxed and everything. I've had 4 or 5 shots of whiskey. A shot is normally an ounce. I think that's a 2-ounce glass, folks. So I opened this bottle right before we came on air. Okay.
I'm back.
So there you go.
I got.
I don't know how much that is. This is a big bottle. It's a 1.75 liter bottle, and I opened it. Donnie, you saw me open it.
Yep. Keith is going to join us. He might have to join in on a shot or a few.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You know what?
And I'll if you got him.
Keith is bringing me. Keith is bringing me a bottle of whiskey, and I'm telling you, Thursday night I'm going to try. Thursday night at the party, I'm going to try not to
get shit faced.
Yeah, because if I do, I start flirting with everybody, and
yeah, and there's people there we actually want to impress too. Like we kind of have to watch how we.
About impressing. This is people I don't want to make a total ass of myself in front of. But
let me ask you, Tex.
Mainly it's Brandon. I mean, to be honest with you, out of everybody there, it's Brandon. I don't want to be a total ass in front of. But it's only 100 proof. You'll be okay. This is 80. Okay, Keith. Shit, I'm in trouble.
Hey, you got another shot ready? You ready?
Oh, what? You're behind. What the hell
I'm behind.
Talking about if I've got a shot ready.
Oh, figure we gotta do it at the same time, and then I'll go into. After this, I'm gonna fit in I'm gonna fit video games into this.
Let me pour one up here. God, I'm 5.5 shots in here. 6 shots. All right, you ready?
All right.
Let me get it turned around so everybody. Shit, spilled it.
Mine says Ginro, which is a brand of liquor. Ginro.
Where'd it go? There it is.
Oh, you got that Bigfoot.
I actually picked this up. I bought the Anita had these at the Alabama conference. So yeah.
All right.
Cheers, Donnie.
Cheers.
Donnie, even.
Oh boy.
Bites. You hadn't had it in a while, don't it?
I haven't had it in a while. It's been like 2.5 weeks. Shit. God damn.
I'm going to tell you a story about me and Donnie. When me and Donnie were in Fort Worth, that was a good time.
That was a good time.
Me, Donnie, and Danielle went and did we go have breakfast or lunch or what was it?
We went to that Mexican joint.
Yeah.
That was good. Breakfast? I remember that was a good ass meal.
It was breakfast, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had menudo. I couldn't talk anybody else to having the menudo.
I remember I got the chicken burrito.
Yeah. You should have had menudo. See, you've never had menudo.
No, I haven't.
You gotta have some menudo.
To be fair, Tex, there's plenty of foods I've had that you've never had. So I gotta take you out to a Korean restaurant one of these days is what I gotta do.
Well, that's fine. I'll eat anything once. Okay. I went to my wife's cousin got married to an Asian guy. And they rented an entire restaurant because y'all go all out for weddings. And
do you remember what kind of Asian?
Asian.
Oh,
so anyway,
man, we're all different, man. Come on, man.
I don't know. I think honestly, I think it may have been, it was either Vietnamese or Korean, one of the two. But anyway, so I'm gonna blow my nose after that shot. The only reason I'm drinking this much because I don't have any snuff in here with me. Anyway, so they rented this entire restaurant and they had I can't remember, it was a 5 or 7 course meal served, right? So the first course was I guess the nearest thing I can think about it would be a relish tray. Okay, but it had jellyfish on it. So I had jellyfish for the first time. I didn't care for it. Wasn't necessarily the taste, it was the consistency because it was gritty like sand. Okay. Then we had a course that was it was it was a roast split duck, and I mean head everything right, and it was split. Well, I took my fork and reached over, plucked the brain out of one side of the duck and ate it. Right. I got news for you, folks. Brain tastes like liver. Okay. So,
how was the rest of the duck though? Was it good?
Oh yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
So there was a course there that was a beef dish, right? And you had the Thai peppers and the beef and everything, right? And of course, you had ushers going around the restaurant carrying, and I don't understand y'all's fascination, the Asian culture fascination with room temperature beer. I don't get it.
No, that's not Korean, man. No, we don't do it like that. We don't do it like that. No, man.
So they were walking around with 18 packs of Budweiser at room temperature.
No, man, we don't do. No, Koreans don't rock it like that. Nope, that person's definitely not Korean.
So anyway, of course, everybody's sitting at the table. There's like 6 of us. Some people I've never met. Right. In fact, it's me and my wife and 4 people I'd never met. So anyway, we're all sitting at the table. They bring this beef dish, and at that point, I'd been drinking. Okay, and I was drinking a mixture of either I was drinking unsweet tea or I was drinking Budweiser. Not a good combination. I'm just saying, folks.
Unsweet tea and Budweiser? That doesn't sound good at all. That sounds gross.
Well, I mean, I had unsweet tea on the table, and then the ushers were bringing.
Yeah, Keith is like room temperature's okay as long as it's a German beer. Yeah, I could see that.
Guinness is good at room temperature, but anyway, so they bring this beef dish, and I pop what I thought was a strip of beef in my mouth. It was one of those peppers.
Oh shit.
And it lit me the hell up.
Okay? Are you usually okay with like really hot peppers though? Like,
yeah, usually I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay, jalapeno level, maybe some habanero.
Yeah.
This lit my ass up.
Oh, it stung, right? It stung.
It hurt.
Yeah. I think I know which pepper you're talking about. I know which one you're talking about.
Because it was a dried pepper that was cooked, but it looked like and I've been drinking. I thought it was a piece of beef, popped it in my mouth. Chomp, 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 chomp. It was too much, right? So I start drinking. And like I said, there's 4 people on this table. I didn't freaking know. I drink everybody's freaking drink on the table. I start down in freaking salt pack or sugar packs on the freaking table.
You were just desperate to keep that heat.
I'm eating bread. I grab a freaking usher that's got an 18 pack of Budweiser beer. I grab the pack from him, put it on the table, and I start popping and down and popping it.
Beer helps. Yeah, it does help.
I could not get rid of that shit. That was the hottest pepper I've ever had in my life.
It has a special kind of sting to it, doesn't it?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You don't want to fuck with some of those Chinese peppers. That sounds very Chinese to me, what you're describing.
Man, it jacked me up.
Yeah.
It jacked me up. And I'm used to hot shit, But yeah, that shit jacked me up.
Anyway, Tex, we've been going an hour and a half, and I haven't even gotten into the video game portion of this whole thing yet.
Well, that's what you get for bringing me on.
Yeah, but no, this is good. This is actually turning out a lot better than I expected, so that's cool. Anyhows, okay, let's bring up the video game part. Are you ready for this?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the reason why I started to equate all this to video games, everything I explained about reincarnation, is because a line that Edgar Casey says that kind of lines up with like something in Buddhism and then even something in Christianity. When someone asks like why are we doing this at the end of the day? Like why the fuck are we as these souls incarnating on this realm from the other side like this? Like what the fuck is the whole point? Edgar Casey's answer to me was very interesting. He said, this world that we're in, that you and I occupy, Tex, this whole thing is an arena. And if you look at the Buddhist worldview of like all the different incarnations, it doesn't outright say it's an arena, but the way it's described, it's an arena. Now, even with Christianity, they talk about spiritual warfare. Right? Because all games,
that's a real thing, dude.
it's a real thing. And at the end of the day, what are games? What are video games? It is warfare, right? It's a practice for warfare. Now, once I started realizing that, I kind of figured out what heaven or the other side of the veil looks like. Now, this isn't my literal interpretation. It's more of like a allegorical. But to me, this is what the other side of the veil looks like. It's a video arcade.
You think
and
so?
Each of our souls goes from machine to machine, right? And each machine is a different incarnation. Now, here's why I think this model fits, okay?
Okay.
In terms of a video game, now let's take like an online RPG like Diablo or something, right?
All right.
The soul is the player. The incarnate, right? The soul is the individual that's going from machine to machine and playing the game. We, you and I, Tex here, we're the avatars. We are the game that's being played. Okay? Now, God, in this sense, he's the programmer. He's the game developer, right?
Okay. I've got another scenario for you that. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Now, let's take a look at this. Angels and demons, right? We know about the Nephilim. We talked about all of that, right? We all know that the angels work for God and that the Nephilim come from the Watchers who are former angels. And what was their job prior to all that shit? They were the moderators.
Okay.
Right? God's the programmer. They're the moderators. So in this model, who or what is Jesus? Jesus is the guy that's just crushing the game. He's killing it. He's got the high score, right? Because we're all meant to strive towards the example of Jesus.
So he's the pinball wizard.
He's the fucking wizard, man. He's the guy who's got the high score that everyone's trying to beat. Now, no one can be as good as Jesus, but what does God, the programmer, provide us? The motherfucking strategy guide.
Okay, so you don't that comment was totally lost on you.
Which one?
Pinball wizard. Right?
The 1980s movie, The Wizard.
No,
That was a Nintendo reference, though.
no, it was a song.
Oh,
Pinball
I don't know
Wizard.
about that. I wasn't aware of that.
Yes. See, the pinball wizard. Pinball Wizard was a song by the Who, and he nobody can beat his high score. He has a very supple wrist, and
Nobody could beat his high score. Look at how bored Jesus looks. He's just killing the game like all easily.
yeah, but see, that's not what it is. See, I think that the Pinball Wizard is constantly fighting against like Let's call him the pinball angel.
Hmm.
He's constantly fighting against the pinball demon, right? So, or devil.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but yeah, you need to listen to Pinball Wizard.
Hmm.
Okay, you need to listen to that song. I don't like a lot of the Who songs. I never was a big fan, but that's a cool song. And it's from the 70s.
Hmm.
Okay, here's what I think.
All right.
We are we are the if you take it from a video game standpoint,
Yeah.
okay, I believe that we are the players trying to achieve a high score. Okay, but I don't think I don't think it's even a high score. I think it's like you said earlier, it's a game with an end
Hmm.
to rescue the princess per se.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's what we're trying to do. Maybe as we level up, we go through different consciousness levels.
Yep.
Does that
And
make
we try
sense?
to face like each level has its own boss that we have to face. Yeah.
Right. But the boss in each level is a trial of our life.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep. So then let me ask you this, Tex. Then in this model, right, we talked about ghosts, and then you talked about conscious hauntings, right? And intelligent hauntings. What about something like a demon then? What do you interpret the demon to be?
That's a lower bad guy.
See, I have a different interpretation. For me, the demon is a former employee of the programmer who's all pissed off, who got fired from the company and is now pissed off. So he's now being an asshole, hacking into the server and being a dick.
Okay.
And they're trying to fuck with our game.
Okay. Oh, by the way, I'm going to send you lyrics.
Yeah.
And you can make a song out of it.
I think the bad guys in the game are actually the trials that we go through in life, like to your point, right? Like the shit that we go through, like the drama that we have to face, or like other people, or like just health issues. Those are like the monsters in the game, right? Because they're part of the game, right? They're part of the learning process. They're the thing that we're meant to overcome. But like paranormal entities, like the Nephilim and demons, they're former employees who are just fucking pissed off at their boss and they want to fuck with us. Now, in this model, when I talk about ghosts earlier, what I think ghosts are, I think that's the game glitching.
Okay.
Because not everyone who dies a violent death winds up as a ghost. Not everyone who dies a sad death winds up as a ghost, right?
No, because I think some people that die a violent death, that's their completion.
Yeah. The game happened as it was supposed to happen.
Yeah. They saved the princess per se.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's why I'd
they
say
gave their life doing it. They gave their life doing it, but that was the end game.
Yeah.
I can see that because I would be happy with that. Honestly, I mean,
yeah,
I would be happy saving somebody else, giving my life. I honestly, I would.
And the way you described that experience at the hospital, right? You're probably thinking, man, this is fucked up. This shouldn't be happening like this. This is a fucking glitch. Right.
But I'm not going out this way.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I thought. I'm not doing this. This is not how I'm supposed to go out.
Yeah.
You know, I'm supposed to go out fighting. I'm supposed to go out
on my feet
doing something.
Yeah.
You know. And a lot of people talk to me about, the field research that I do and I do shit, Donnie, I do shit by myself, And well, what happens is this? So what? So what? You know, and I'm from the very start. If Tex goes missing and they find a body and it's a bear, it wasn't no freaking bear attack. I'm going to tell you that right now.
If you ever get taken out by cryptid, and I am at your funeral, I will be actually happy for you because I'll be like, damn it, he went out as he intended.
Well, I will tell you this.
It was a glorious end.
Okay. There better not be if you're at my funeral. You better be at my fucking funeral.
Well, what if I die first? You never know.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, because I'm going to tell everybody right now, my funeral ain't going to be a funeral. It's going to be a party. Because it's going to be a celebration. Mm-hmm. Because I am of the mind that, I'm telling you folks, I might do this song karaoke. Prop me up beside the jukebox when I die.
Now, let me ask you this, Tex. If it does turn out that you get taken out by a Bigfoot, would you want a Bigfoot-themed funeral?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I want everybody there. I want everybody to have a party. I want margarita machines. Mm-hmm. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. I don't want anybody crying. You know what? If I don't make, as the song says, if I don't make it,
you should make it a requirement that everyone attending the funeral has to wear a Bigfoot t-shirt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If the sun don't rise tomorrow, people, I've had a good time.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Oh, one other point. So, in these conversations you've had, Tex, right? People have talked about the occult and black magic, right? Mm-hmm. You know people, and even people that we meet in here, right? People will sometimes fuck with like occult shit or witchcraft shit, right? And we were always taught, don't fuck with that, right? Now, let me ask you, from this video game perspective, can you figure out why we're not supposed to fuck with it?
From a video
game perspective.
Well, I think you're changing sides. I think you're taking the easy way out.
Because it's a cheat code.
Absolutely.
And again, the whole point is to get the high motherfucking score. If you're going to cheat your way to that score,
absolutely,
that shit ain't legit.
Absolutely. It's a victory with an asterisk.
Yeah. So, I don't know, Tex. I think we've gone 1 hour 42. I think we can end it here. What do you think?
You know what? I think we've had a pretty damn solid show, Donnie.
I think we had a pretty good show.
Here talking about shit, and we've gotten pretty deep.
Philosophizing, having a couple shots.
Well, honestly, I mean, this may be the only show that me and you've ever done absolutely just me and you.
No, actually, the first one, we did one early on where it was just me and you, but I was sick at the time, so that show kind of sucked.
That don't count.
Yeah,
that don't count.
I actually had COVID at the time, guys.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, my skin was actually green.
Yeah, you looked and you felt horrible.
Yeah,
I didn't even want to do the show that night. I mean, it was bad.
But yeah, this was good.
But this one made up for it.
I think so. Okay, and before we go, Tex, do you have any final words for the people listening at home, people in the chat?
Monica's show is rescheduling.
Oh.
Monica's show is rescheduling. It's moving from Thursdays to Sundays. Now, I need to get with you, Monica, and Randy, because Randy's show starts at the
No, not Randy's show. Our show. Me and Randy.
Y'all show.
Yeah.
Sorry. Y'all, because he said he needed to get with you. Y'all show starts at 9:30 on Sundays.
9:30 your time. Yeah.
Yeah, 9:30 Central on Sundays. So about an hour later, it looks like Monica's show is going to move from Thursday to Sundays about 10:30, 11 o'clock. So yeah.
That show that Randy and I are doing, by the way, tomorrow, tune in to Randy's channel. It's going to be The Ball Pit. That show is actually meant for the guys
Don't say
in
that.
the Misfit Toys to bitch and complain about sports. So it's your show too, Tex, and you're welcome anytime.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I might be there tomorrow night. Honestly,
to talk about the Cowboys.
yeah, because
Oh, by the way, Tex, can I tell you the title of the episode that I decided on?
no, please do.
The sexual orientation of Cowboys fans. Because as we know, Cowboys fans are all gay.
It's the paranormal video game time. 'Cause not listening to Donny is a crime. I'm just kidding, folks, but you know what I mean. Tonight's all about the ghost and the machine. All about paranormal and video games. Paranormal and video games. With Donny Joe kicking ass and taking names. We've come for paranormal shit and video games. Philosophizing about the afterlife. 'Cause Donny can't play Baldur's Gate 3 tonight. Talking about ghosts and angels, whatever goes. He just wants to play his game and it really shows. All about paranormal and video games. Paranormal and video games. With Donny Cho kicking ass and taking names. We've come for paranormal shit and video games. Donny spent all week thinking about Baldur's Gate 3. But sadly his Saturday nights aren't free. So he's gone